Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. On this page, I talk about technology and money. So this is my second live. So I'm still learning like the streaming software and how to do everything. So like I always ask, y'all just show me a little bit of grace, okay? So first of all, before I get into today's topic, I just want to ask, how are you doing today? Did you have a good day? Are you having a good week so far? Have you taken a chance to just like stop, breathe, do something nice for yourself? So I hope you're having a good week so far. So that's first of all. So I always just like to do a mental health check-in because it's so important to make sure. Okay. So today I want to talk about, so it's graduation season. Okay. And I'm starting to see like all of the new grads, and I'm seeing everyone's graduation pictures, and I got my notes here. So I'm looking down. But I'm starting to see like for the nursing graduates and things. So I was like, okay, I'll do just a video. I don't plan to be here long on my best advice for new nursing graduates. Okay, so that's the topic I want to talk about today. I have about 5 or 6 things that I like to share. And if you are an experienced nurse and you watch the playback, if you have any advice for new grads, please do leave like a tip, a comment below. Because the tips that I have may be very different from yours. I'm gonna focus on my tips, primarily focus on non-nursing, non-clinical for nursing grads. Okay, y'all. So I'm looking over here just so y'all know, because I'm live on TikTok and then I'm also live on YouTube. So you'll see me. So hey, everybody, TikTok that are watching. So I appreciate it. Glad you guys are here. So it's good to see folks joining. And so for those who are watching on TikTok, and if you're just joining, if you haven't watched any of my videos on YouTube, what I always like to do at the beginning is I always like to do just a mental health check. Like, how's everybody doing? Are you having a good day so far? Right? Are you having a good Monday? Have you taken a chance to just kind of just stop and breathe and take a moment and just do something nice for yourself? Okay, so that's always important, especially if you are a nurse. I know there are some non-nursing folks that follow me, but especially as a registered nurse, I've been a registered nurse for over 24 years. And so it's always important for my mental health, for the work that I do. I work in tech. So I'm a registered nurse who works in tech. So it's always important for my mental health to always make sure that I'm taking care of my mental, because that's like one of the top things for me. Like that comes that's one like at the top of my list. So today's topic, so I got my YouTube camera here and then TikTok here. So today, y'all, I want to talk about my best tips for nursing graduates. So if you're new here, please do like the video and also share. And liking and sharing the video does 2 things. Number one, it helps this information get out into the algorithm. So it reaches more people, so you're adding value. And then it also encourages me to continue creating content that you all find helpful. So I would appreciate that. So the tips that I have, I don't plan to be before you all very long, are focused primarily for nurses, but on the non-clinical side. And so just like I do with my other videos, I always tell y'all, I got to do my disclaimer. Don't believe everything I say. Okay. Don't just take what I say about working in technology as a nurse, managing your money. Don't just take anything that I say and run with it. And that's just with anything that you come across online. You always want to make sure that you are doing your due diligence. Okay. That's just with anything online. And so the nursing tips, my best tips for nursing grads that I'm going to give today, these are just my tips. Okay. These are just computer and coin tips. Computer and coin tips. They don't encompass everything, right? So there are a lot of good nurses on social media. There are a lot of good resources out there. So find what resonates with you, okay? And I'm going to share towards the end of the video, I am going to share a few additional resources that around money and managing your career that I feel like there are nurses here on TikTok, but also on Instagram and YouTube that are doing it way much better than I am, okay? All right, so welcome to everybody who's watching on TikTok. And then, okay, so I'm going back and forth if you're just joining or if you have dropped out, okay? So I'm also live on YouTube. All right, so I just want to also recommend welcome the new subscribers on TikTok and on YouTube. One of the videos that I did a week and a half ago now about being a nurse working in technology went viral, and I gained like 150 subscribers overnight. No, in a couple of days, which I was not expecting. So welcome to everyone who are new to watching my videos, especially on YouTube. If you have any questions, you can always, like in the description box of my YouTube videos, I always leave my contact information where you all can like email me directly. So I do that because some folks sometimes DM me questions or email me questions that they don't feel comfortable answering on the timeline, and that's totally fine. Okay, so welcome to everybody on TikTok, and then I'm gonna again be going back and forth. So again, it's graduation season. I absolutely love seeing the new grads on my timeline, posting their photos from graduation, telling their graduation stories, how they made it through nursing school, the barriers that they had to like overcome. It's very encouraging to me. I've been out of school over 24 years. So it's good to hear the stories of the new grads and also like the new nurses working at the bedside or who are new to the profession. I love seeing you all's stories on my timeline. I love when people tag me and things because it keeps me connected to just being new to the profession. So I'm loving seeing all of the graduation season, the grad caps, the grad stories. And so these tips I'm going to share are things that I wish folks would have told me as a new nurse. I was the first nurse in my family. And I know some folks are also, first nurse, first generation nursing graduate. So these are tips, I was like, okay, if I was a new nurse, these are things that I wish someone would have shared with me. Okay. Or that I have learned over the years. Again, and these tips are not necessarily all clinical, but these are things that I would have wanted to be told as a new nurse. Okay. So the first thing, my best tips for new nursing grads, and if you're an experienced nurse and you have a tip, please do. You're welcome because I am live here on TikTok and I'm also live here on YouTube. You can please do be respectful in the comments. And if you're an experienced nurse, share your tips, right? If you have some tips that you have for new nursing graduates, share that because, we are a village and that's how, things get done. We take care of each other. All right, let's get into it because I'm trying not to be here no longer than about 20-30 minutes. Okay. So my first tip for nursing graduates is similar to how I start most of my videos, right, on YouTube, or even like I do a TikTok video. I always like to just do a check-in. So my first tip for new nursing grads is do what you can to protect and cultivate your mental health and keeping yourself mentally healthy. Okay, that is really important. That's important no matter what specialty of nursing you're going into. If you're going to the bedside, straight from graduation to the bedside, straight from graduation to like a clinic or a doctor's office, anywhere you go, it's really important to protect and cultivate your mental health. I'm a nurse, registered nurse working in tech. I've been in it 18, 19 years, and I still do a lot that I can to check in with myself, especially at the beginning of the day, or when my days get tough, because I'm not at the bedside, but my work that I do in tech can be very stressful sometimes. And so it's really important that I do things like I meditate, I do yoga, I'll do like a wellness walk if my day is getting tough. I take time to talk with my family and friends. Sometimes I'll be like, you know what, y'all, I don't mean no harm. I just need a moment. Like, I just need a timeout just to breathe. And it's really important because you think about, as a nurse, the work that you're doing, you have a human being's life. We are human beings taking care of human beings, and we need rest, right? And rest is restorative, and part of that rest and making sure that you are healthy, not only like eating healthy foods and drinking your water and all that, is making sure that your mental health is healthy, because it can be very stressful, right? And like, if you're in no matter what environment you're in, if you're like in the ICU, med surg, peri-op, pediatrics, OBGYN, etc. It can be very stressful. There's a lot of things that nurses are responsible for in the care of patients. We work with a lot of disciplines. We are in a lot of tenuous, stressful situations, cold blues, rapid responses. Your patient is decompensated. You may have a patient who's decompensating, and you are just like, oh, you got to hang blood, you got to start a new IV, you got to do all of these things. So, when you can get a moment to just stop and breathe, and outside of work as well, to just take care of your mental health, I encourage that. So that's like my number one top tip is to protect and cultivate your mental health. So welcome to anybody who just joined the TikTok. Today I'm talking about my best tips for new nursing grads. I'm a registered nurse who's worked as a registered nurse for over 24 years, and about 18, 19 of those years I've worked in tech. Okay, so my number two tip. So my number one is mental health. My number two is the money. And I'm just keeping it real. So again, these are my tips. I would say, as you're a new grad, especially if this is the most money that you have ever been working, please take time to learn about your employer's 401k or 403b plan. So some employers have a 401k, some employers have a 403b. Those companies with 403b plans are those companies that are like private companies. Okay, so they are like privately held. I'm going to give you, there is a registered nurse. I follow her on Instagram in here. Her name is Financially Intentional. Like, I talk about money on my page, on my YouTube page, and how I'm debt free and how I paid off $94,000 of debt and all of that. But Financially Intentional, and financially has 2 L's, and she's not paying me to mention her name or mention her programs or anything, but she's also a registered nurse. She's based out in California. She is a pediatric nurse. And matter of fact, I will share her Instagram here. Let me share my screen here. Nasima is her name. And she's also a family nurse practitioner, but she actually has a podcast called Nurses on Fire podcast, right? Where she talks about money and she teaches nurses how to build wealth. And part of building your wealth is making sure that you are investing into your employer's 403b or 401k plan. Because as a new grad, it doesn't matter your age. As a new grad, and you start getting them big checks, like coming in making like $30, $40, $50 an hour, that may be more money than you've ever seen. It can be very tempting to just start spending. Trust me, I've been there, right? But your time in the market with your retirement plan, the longer you are investing into your employer's retirement plan, the better off your time in the market. You have better rates of return. So yeah, Financially Intentional. She has a whole program on how she teaches nurses how to build wealth, and I do believe she is debt free, and she's very transparent with her salary. Like, she is more transparent than I would ever be. But I think she is pulling down like over $200,000 a year, and she shows you like all of her multiple streams of income, but also how she's building wealth. She is, I believe she's divorced. I can't remember what her marital status is. It doesn't matter. But I do know she has 2 children. And then she talks about how she's not only building wealth for herself, but also her family. So my number 2 tip for my best tips for new nursing grads is just learn about your employer's retirement plan, because your time in the market will be like if I've been working as a nurse for 24 years. If I did not, I've been invested in my employer's plan since I started working. But say if I had not, and I just now started putting money into my retirement plan, you'd be playing catch up, right? So if you're fresh out of school, your best thing to do is go ahead and start doing that off top. So that's number two. Number three is again related to money, is budget. Get you a budget and stick to it. And when I say that, because I think about back to when I first started making money as a registered nurse, fresh out of school, and then when I started working in tech, fresh out of grad school, and you start getting those big checks, and you think about all the things that you can buy, all the trips that you can take, all of that, just unnecessary. I mean, I won't say that unnecessary, but your money, because you're having money coming in, and as a nurse, it's so easy to have additional streams of income. Like you can pick up overtime, you can travel. Like there's a nurse on TikTok that was talking last night. She was making $135 an hour on a travel contract. So that's about what, $220,000 a year. So as nurses, we can really pull in some money, and you have that money coming in. And I know some employers pay weekly, some pay bi-weekly, some pay once a month, but it's really easy to let your money get away from you, especially if you're making more money than you ever have been as a nurse. So I would say right out to get you a budget. I use a budgeting app. I use a free budgeting app. There are so many budgeting apps out there. I use Every Dollar. It's free. Every Dollar is one word. It's available in the App Store. Now they do have a version of Every Dollar that's paid that you can connect to your bank account. I don't do that because I don't like automatic payments. I don't like nobody going in to get my money without me having some say so. But that's just my personal thing. But so they do have a paid version of the Every Dollar app, but it's a budgeting app. You put in how much money you have coming in, and you give every dollar assignment. Like say if your rent is $1,200, you want to spend $500 on groceries, just stick to it, because it's really easy. Again, as a nurse, especially, you start getting those checks and that money starts coming in, and you're working regularly and you're getting paid regularly. It's real easy to just lose sight of your money, and then you may start having more month than money, meaning that you start living paycheck to paycheck because you're overspending. So it's real easy to do so. So I would say, as a new grad, one of your best bets is to get yourself on a budget and stick to it. And tied in with that is, once you get your first couple of paychecks and you get a good taste, and you buy a few nice things to yourself, go ahead and start setting up an emergency fund. And again, financially intentional. And there's other people out there. There's Mandy Money. I actually did a YouTube video on 5 personal finance personalities to check out, who are not Dave Ramsey, who are not Susie Orman. There are people out there who can teach you how to get on a budget, set up an emergency fund, and all of that. There's Clever Girl Finance. She's not a nurse, but I know Financially Intentional is a nurse. So definitely set yourself up an emergency fund, because my mama used to always say, you got to prepare for war in a time of peace. And that's not like going to war, but that's just ensuring that, when, times are good, things are good, you have money coming in, you're setting just a little bit to the side. And if you have an emergency, like you need a new tire or something happens with one of your children or your family member, you'll have a little bit of money set aside without putting yourself into dire straits. Okay. And you don't have to be setting aside like 25% of your paycheck. Start small. Just put something to the side. Okay. Whether it's 10%, if that's too much, start with 1%. 3%, and just see how it feels. Definitely just build up your emergency fund. So welcome if you're just joining on TikTok. Today I'm talking about my best tips for new graduates. I'm a registered nurse who's been working in nursing for over 24 years, and then I've been working in tech for about 18, 19 years. Okay, so my tip number 4, y'all, I told y'all I wasn't going to be before you long. I only got 2 more tips to go. All right, so my number 4 tip ties into my number 3 tip about, nurses making money. Like the nurse who is that I was talking about. She posted a video on her TikTok last night, how she's getting paid $135 an hour. And I know travel contracts are starting to come down. But even beyond that, if you're a new grad, I know a lot of organizations, pay bonuses. I know some organizations are paying up to a $25,000 signing bonus, $10,000, $15,000. As a new grad, and as you're working, now this I'm talking slow intentionally on this one because I want you all to hear me. Okay. As you are making your money and your money is coming in, you're getting yourself together, you're getting used to the amount of money that you're making. Watch out for the people around you. And I mean, not just like family members, but also friends, because people know how much the earning potential and the earning power of nurses are. Okay. They know we have the ability to like do overtime, or once you get experience, to travel. And this one is tied into financial abuse. Okay. And I know there are personalities out there that talk about this and, red flags to look out for, but just be mindful of that. Okay. So not only with like our romantic partners, but also our family members. Okay. Because I just say, people know how much money you're making. They may say, well, how much money are you getting paid? Now, I don't share, even with my own family, I don't share how much I make, because I feel like personally it's my business. But I know some folks do. And once people know, all of a sudden, they're in a bind. I need $20. Can I borrow $100? Can you work, an extra so we can pay for this? Or you may have family members that then put it on you. Make it your responsibility to take care of them. There's always a bond. There's always something. And just be mindful of the people around you, and to protect yourself from like financial abuse. Okay. And I won't maybe I'll do a separate video about that. That's not my expertise, but I do know that is a form of intimate partner violence, but then also like interfamily and friends, So just be mindful of the people around you, y'all, because people, if you're not careful, people will drain you dry. They'll be like, "Who, you the one with all the money?" So that's tip number 4. And tip number 5, this is my last tip for my best tips for new grads. And again, if you're late joining, or if you dropped and came back, I made it very clear from the beginning that these tips, and I got 2 cameras here for the folks watching on TikTok. That's why I keep going back and forth. But these tips more so focus on the non-clinical aspects of being a nurse as a new grad. Okay, so there are nurses out there who talk about making sure that, you have your own insurance policy as a nurse, and don't tell anybody about it and what that means. And, tips about, working clinically at the bedside, and, how to keep your skills, how to get your skills fresh and up, about, doing IVs and wound and vac changes and all of that. But this tip right here, as a new grad, now this is something I really wish I knew as a new grad, but build your network online and offline. Because when I talk about preparing for war in a time of peace, like say if you as a new grad, you are working a job and you're in a situation you just don't like it, you're not happy, you need to go. Now it's relatively easy to get a job as a nurse, right? But your network and the people who know you, not only the people you know, but the people who know you, those people will get you a new job and in better opportunities faster than you going out to Indeed or LinkedIn or wherever and applying for jobs. Your network will push you along and elevate you faster than you just out here doing it on your own. Okay. So when I say build a network online and offline, what do I mean by that? Connected with nurses on social media. Nurses are super active on TikTok. There's a lot of nurses on Instagram as well. Now, I know there are nurses on Facebook, but I'm not big on Facebook. I just, I don't hardly do Facebook at all. But take time to build your network, both online and offline. Connect with your nursing organizations, y'all. I'm telling you, and I will say, like with my network, the last 3 jobs that I got, I work in tech. I've been in tech for about 18, 19 years. The last 3 jobs that I got, I didn't even, well, I wasn't looking for them. I eventually, when they were brought to my attention, I had to apply to them as part of the formal HR process. But they were job opportunities that people came to me and said, hey, I know of this opportunity at this tech company. Would you be interested in it? Or I think you're the perfect fit. Or I heard that such and such is in need of a nurse who knows how to do X, Y, Z, or whatever. So your network, having a strong network, mutually beneficial, you helping people, people helping you, that will get you up. Trust me, just trust me on that. So take time to join your nursing organizations, go to conferences if you can, connect with nurses on TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, and keep in contact with people. Just trust me on that. Okay, y'all. So that's it. So for my YouTube, so for folks who are going to come back and watch the playback, I did want to share the 2 resources. So the folks that are left watching on TikTok. So the first resource that I was going to share, at least around money for new grads, number 1 is Financially Intentional. Okay. So that's Nasima. She is a registered nurse based out in California. She teaches nurses how to build wealth, and she also has a podcast, Nurses on Fire podcast. So that's number 1. But number 2 is our niece. She is a nurse lawyer. Okay. So she is a registered nurse who went back to law school, and she got her law degree, and she talks a lot on her pages about nurses and how to protect your license. And she also has like business development courses, and you can do like a consult and thing with her, stuff with her. So if you're a new grad and you have questions about protecting your nursing license, I'm not the expert on that. Your nurse lawyer, she's the person that I follow on Instagram, and like the things that have happened like in the news with nurses, like around like Redon DeVault, or the nurse up there in Pennsylvania that was working at that long-term care facility and had the issue where the patient unfortunately passed away. So she gives a lot of good tips on how nurses can protect their licenses. Okay. So she's on Instagram. Now, she may have a TikTok, y'all. If she has a TikTok, then you all can look her up. But on Instagram, her page is Your Nurse Lawyer. So yeah, y'all, that's it. If you're just joining, please do like and share this video. I do appreciate it. So those are the tips that I had for new nursing grads, my best tips. If you're on YouTube and you're watching the playback, if you have any tips for new grads, please do share them below. And so for TikTok folks, if you're just joining, I keep going back and forth just so you know, because I have like TikTok here, and then I have YouTube over here. So yeah, y'all, that's it. If you have any other topics that you would like me to talk about or share on my page, I talk about technology and money. Most of my videos, the last couple of ones have been around nurses working in technology, but I also talk about money as well. So yeah, y'all, that's it. I told y'all I wasn't going to be here long. So my contact information will be in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. All right, TikTok, that's it. Y'all have a good evening. Bye now. Oh. That's fine. Mm.